Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you stack silver and you like your daily news to be completely uncensored, then you've come to the right place. So make sure you subscribe and definitely click the bell so you immediately get notified every time I post a video. Huge news came out today, January 30th. Well, yesterday for you guys, but it's talking about global silver demand is now forecasted to rise to 1.2 billion ounces in 2024. This shuts up all the people that said that demand can't keep up at these rates and is going to start slowing down this year. No, it's only going to keep growing and growing. And once you hear what the production numbers are, you'll start to see the severity of the situation, especially given the context of record-breaking supply deficits last year and the hundreds of millions of ounces, and also what supply is supposed to be this year, even at a high year around 826 million ounces, but demand exceeding 1.2 billion ounces, meaning we are beyond hundreds of millions of ounces in the red at this point, and we need silver for war. And war is definitely something that is coming up on the table more than ever, which is a very important thing to incorporate since silver is heavily used in war. So you got to remember the bigger picture when you look at these numbers. This means a lot of different things, and all of this is also pointing towards higher silver prices. Low supply, high demand pushes the price up. There's a direct correlation between silver demand and silver prices if you look at a graph. Years that silver demand is rising, silver's price is rising. It's almost identical. Demand is going to keep rising over the next 5 to 10 years. So what does that tell us? And if you wanted to purchase some of this shiny stuff, I do have a deal right now, which is Maple Leafs for $375 over spot, minimum of $50. We have tons of other stuff. The new 2024 Eagles are in as well. Slayer at milesfranklin.com. All right, folks. So the Silver Institute just dropped new data today, further validating the silver shortage and how last year was not a fluke in that all these numbers are going to start falling and things will be fine and dandy. That is the farthest thing from the truth, and anyone who is saying that, you should stop listening to them. If achieved, this would be the second highest level on record. If we're talking about demand steadily staying, consistently staying above 1 billion ounces with supply only around 850 million ounces on a good year, that is very scary. That model does not work. That means year after year, demand is going to keep outpacing, meaning the gap, the supply deficit is going to keep increasing. But we need silver at records we can't even possibly fathom, especially given how much silver is used in military and how we are entering even more wars. Global silver demand is forecast to reach 1.2 billion ounces in 2024, and I believe could be up to 1.4 billion ounces as some others predicted, but which if achieved would be the second highest level recorded. Stronger industrial offtake is a principal catalyst for the rising global demand for the white metal, and the sector should hit a new annual high this year. I mean, that's very possible, especially since yesterday Biden just came out and said that we will retaliate against Iran, meaning that this is definitely more warfare going on. And since there's up to 500 ounces in a single Tomahawk missile, not every missile, usually around 200 ounces in a quote unquote like normal missile. I showed data showing the amount of silver in each missile for the 30, 40 different types we have. That's a whole separate video. The whole point is that if we engage in more warfare, that's going to mean that the Defense Department needs to raid more of our silver reserves, which they did last year. But if we don't have the silver in those reserves, do you think that the military is going to say, oh shucks, oh well, no more missiles? No. We're talking about war. Silver wins wars, and they will do whatever they need to get their hands on enough silver to build these nukes and surveillance and satellites and drones and missiles and rockets. I hope they will find a way to do so, because if not, then who knows how dangerous that could be. So for short term, and let me pause right here. For anyone who's saying, oh, we have plenty of silver, and these guys that talk about the shortage don't know what they're talking about, those guys are either one, just completely oblivious, two, very misleading, biased, usually pushing their own narrative for something beyond, I could even say. I don't even know what the third could be. It's either one or the other, right? They're just oblivious, or they're purposely trying to deny it for some other reason, because the data does not lie. As early as a start to U.S. interest rate cuts appear less likely, investment in much of the precious metal complex could be under pressure. Concerns about slowing Chinese economy could also present headwind to silver institutional investment. But the only thing is, slowing Chinese economy doesn't mean much. Silver's the biggest consumer of silver. They are opening up, but also there's other systems in effect, especially with green, where we have these notions put in place where we make an X amount. It's not like we just we just cut back or put a halt to the X amount of solar panels or whatever. We have actual systems in place making a specific number we have to meet. So even if it does slow down, that doesn't mean much necessarily, especially on the on the grand scheme of things, or in the grand scheme of things. So unless recycling picks up or something, I don't see how any of that's going to affect the demand too much. With that backdrop, Silver Institute offers its thoughts of the 2024 silver market, noting Metals Focus, the distinguished global precious metals research consultancy based in London, contributed to this analysis. The firm will research and produce the Silver Institute's annual report on the International Silver Market World Silver Survey 2024, and that will be released on April 17th. Silver demand. Global silver demand is expected to rise 1%, pushed higher by the continued strength of industrial end uses and a recovery in silver or in jewelry and silverware demand. Silver industrial fabrication is forecast to post 4% rise 2024 to 690 million ounces, building on the all-time highs achieved last year. So do you see what's happening? Every year, we're going to keep breaking records. It's just going to get worse. Like I say, in the year 2030, how many billions of ounces will we need? Will it be 1.7 billion ounces by then? 2 billion ounces by then? Where is that silver going to come from? Where's it going to come from? You guys got to, anyone who says that it's a hoax or whatever, we don't know what we're talking, you guys are thinking too short-sighted. And when I talk about a silver shortage, I'm not saying, oh, APMEX isn't going to have eagles anymore. That is one case which did happen, by the way, in a very short time span, only like a couple of days from the Wall Street silver movement. You couldn't buy silver anywhere. They're all sold out. So that is a real thing, but I'm not talking about it from that perspective. I'm talking about the bigger picture where big industry, big tech needs silver, but there's not enough of it. So for them to get it, it would have to push up cost of production. And if that happens, imagine what would happen to the entire economy. I mean, think Elon Musk, for example, let's say he didn't go buy a silver mine last year, and silver shoots to the moon, $100, even $50. That's double the cost of production, because now he has to pay $50 for an ounce of silver instead of $25, meaning that Tesla's prices would have to skyrocket. Or if you can't find silver, then he'll have to cut back the amount of Teslas produced each year. Or Joe Biden coming out and saying we have to put a halt to the Green New Deal, or we have to slow down the amount of solar panels, or whatever the case is. You see what I'm saying, though, is that this is a much bigger cause and effect, which in return shows silver's true value, because they can see now, big tech could see now how critical silver is and how it's much more valuable than 25, 23, whatever dollars, since it is the most important thing we need right now. And when that happens, which I say by the year 2026, that's when silver's true price will shine. That's just my take. Think what you want, say what you want, just be respectful. But anyways, taking each in turn, global PV installations, which are photovoltaic cells using solar panels, significantly exceeded initial market expectations in 2023, right? And that's going to keep happening. Solar panels are going to keep boosting, with new capacity additions forecast to reach another record this year. Right, solar panels. Once again, this is new news, folks. You guys hear me talk about this all the time, and now more validation coming out. Another record-breaking year for solar panels. Another one. Everyone was saying, oh, solar panels are going to slow down. All those people were wrong. Silver offtake should also benefit from the technological breakthrough as it's brought this year. And yeah, see even more uses for silver and AI chips now. Higher efficiency and N-type solar cells with higher silver loadings into mass production. I really want you guys to understand. I'm sure you guys know, but I'm talking about the person that is saying that doesn't think the silver shortage is that serious or how much it could affect the price. So in the automotive industry, greater use of electronic components and investment in battery charging infrastructure will continue to support silver offtake. After a challenging 2023, a projected recovery in consumer electronics will provide an additional lift to the silver industrial market. Despite uncertain economic conditions in some key markets, the deployment of AI-related applications has seen several consumer electronic brands prepare to introduce new products which should favor silver. Jewelry demand expected to record a 6% rise, and India will contribute to the bulk of gains this year, follow a sharp pullback in 2022, but on top of more normal levels, a positive economic backdrop, getting used to high rupee silver prices should also underpin growth this year. I mean, it's insane. And then physical investment projected to decrease 6% to a 4-year low, with losses dominated by the U.S. solid economic growth. Further gains in U.S. stock market will be key drivers. This is the important part to look at. So we already know that demand's booming, but now let's look at supply. Total global supply is forecasted to grow by 3% in 2024 to an 8-year high of 1.02 billion ounces, entirely led by recovery in mine output. Nice. So mine output did also play somewhat of a part, but silver mine production in 2024 projected to rise to 843 million ounces. So, my production, 843 million ounces, that's on a good year, which is still not enough, the highest level since 2018. This growth is to a large extent reliant on undisrupted operations at the mine in Mexico and a silver mine in Russia. So byproduct silver output from base metal mines is forecasted to decrease as community and government disputes led to some mine closures, particularly in South America and some in Canada, usually because of water. People think it's going to contaminate the water, pollute the water, but I mean, that's the most recent silver mine closing that I've heard of. Usually it's found by accident, though. But in contrast, silver recycling expected to edge lower, and with volumes likely to drop by 3% to a 3-year low. Lower jewelry and silverware scrap supply will account for most of this year's losses. Photographic scrap is also expected to weaken. So silver market is forecast to remain in a deficit. Total supply, less demand. In 2024, marking the 4th consecutive year of a structural market deficit. And then, although this year's deficit is expected to ease by to 176 million ounces, and in 2023 was 194 million ounces, it will still be exceptionally high by historic standards. So that's, every year we're talking about 200 million ounces in the red. Remember, these numbers are more inflated on the industrial side when you also include the numbers of military and aerospace, which is a lot. So this data is only going to keep getting crazier. More records every single year are going to be broken, and I can't even imagine by the year 2027 or 2028 what production versus supply, what type of demand we'll be seeing by then. Let me know what you think in the comment section below of what you think the demand would be like, or even what prices would be like in the year 2027. Think silver could break above $50 in the next couple of years? And also let me know why. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Make sure you check out the video I made yesterday, because I just recorded it before this video, but I'm posting this one tomorrow. So check out the video I made yesterday talking about Biden's retaliation on silver and what that's going to be doing to the prices. And that's directly because of the 3 U.S. soldiers that got killed in Jordan. Biden coming out saying that we are going to retaliate, and what dangers that brings ahead for the United States and silver prices, also pushing prices higher because of the economic turmoil and the worrying that goes on along with the FOMC meeting that's going to be happening today for you guys, tomorrow for me on Wednesday, and also how that could affect the price as soon as Federal Chairman Jerome Powell comes out and says XYZ. So yeah, anyways, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe. Slayer@milesfranklin.com if you want silver. I got you guys. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.